Hey, we're back. So, tiny house, cabin construction. Sometimes, I would say probably all the time, things are hastily done. I will admit I hastily put everything in. Working a full-time job, doing things on the weekend, you don't always necessarily have a full amount of time to get things done. Man, it is a scorcher today. We went from 50 degrees yesterday morning to into 70s this morning, and we're probably close to 80 now. So I love Oklahoma to death, but man, temperature swings. So back to this. So I quickly put the water line in. Like I said, structural things can sometimes cause problems in cabin builds or prefab stuff. I have a plate right here that is a 2x6 with a 2x4 on the outside. And then right above that is my wall. So I have two 2x4s and then another 1.5 inches. That is one of the problems about drilling through to try to get plumbing into an exterior wall where you're maximizing your floor space. So when we put our washer in on the other side of this wall on the inside, I just quickly, because I was trying to get it done and I didn't want to take the time to drill up through all those plates, I just went out about 3 inches into the floor and drilled a hole and brought the line up into the back of the washing machine. But I'm trying to maximize that floor space. So I want to get that extra 3 inches of that washing machine back up against the wall. So I'm moving the line to the outside of the wall, I have a little bit more room. And I've already moved the drain line over, which I had the drain line coming up through the floor as well. I already have moved that over. So, but what I'm doing right now is I'm moving the water line over. We're working on the cold water line right now. So this is the 90 that went up into the bottom of the floor. When I started the remodel job, I was trying to make sure I had water going to the rest of the house. So I just put a 3/4 inch plug into where I had cut it off. That way I was able to keep water going. So yet again, I know they make PVC cutters, they make pecks cutters, they make all that extra tool you buy. If you're able to buy one or get one, that's fine. I really like these garden shears. They're just a little bit of garden shears. I'm going to go to just right past the fitting and I'm going to cut it off. One of the other reasons, and I kind of talked about this the other day, I like this particular garden shear because I can slide it right up in, and I don't think I touched on that. And then I can just go snip. Now, if I'm in place, I can't get the fitting out and I'll go snip crosswise. And then you can work it off. But if you go like that, you can even go like twice cut, and then you got a piece out. And then it's very easy to pop off, and then you can reuse that fitting. Right, like that. And we're going to come back to that. And here, like I said, there's a 1,000 different ways to do things. I showed you how to use your pecks tool to get the clamp off. I showed you how to use a flat blade screwdriver to get it off. Well, here's just a pair of regular wire snippers. You can also just get a hold of that ear and twist right there, and it comes right off. Real simple, real easy, right like that. So I'm going to snip this off again because we're going to use it again here in a minute, and you'll see why. So I got that cut right there. You'll see why we're going to use this again here in a minute. I'm going to snip that off. I mean, see, and sometimes, a cheap tool or a tool that's not necessarily made for something Works real good because that gets that off and it doesn't damage the fitting, because we're going to use this fitting again. $4 or $5, you're reusing it. So we have our new line right here, or our line. Now, we live in a rural area, so the nearest big chain hardware store is about 45 minutes to an hour away. The local hardware store, I needed a coupling. So I do not want to run the whole other line back to where it's tied in at. That's about 8 more feet of line. I don't want to run that. I just need to add 2 feet. They did not have just a coupling. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use a T. They did have a T, and I'm going to put a T in here. And then what I'm going to do is this piece that we cut off that's got the plug on it, we're just going to stick it on this T and make a dead leg, is what they call it. Crimped on there like so, and you have a coupling. I know that's not ideal, but it is a workaround to getting a coupling. This is a lot easier to do this than it was to run 8 more feet of line, go back up underneath the house and cut all that loose. So we're going to get this put on here like so. Right there. There you go. We're going to pause for a second. When you come back, we're going to be on the other side of this right here. If I can find the pause button. Yeah, maybe we can't. Hey, like I said, hindsight's 2020. I'm new to this and we're trying to figure it out. This might be a 2-part video.